Can you hear me properly?
Good morning, sir. जी sir.
Do you have any question? Just feel comfortable and ask. And secondly, have you searched the three review of literatures from the field of your interest, and have you read them in detail? Was it everything the same with what I've told you, or is there was there anything new? Please confirm me. Anyone who searched the review of literature. Do you have any question? I'm not getting any response, so please confirm me. Can you hear me? Is there any distortion in my voice? Please confirm me so that I can continue.
सर कल में बहुत डिस्टॉर्शन हो रही है आवाज में.
Is it distortion for you only, or is it for everyone? Anyone else?
सर
Okay. Roll number 10. Can you hear my voice? $520. Please unmute the mic and respond.
Yes sir.
यस सर आवाज आ रही है आपकी.
Is it clear?
Yes sir.
यस
Okay. Have you completed the assignment, which I asked you to just search couple of review of literature and then read them carefully? Okay, once again silent. So one section of review of literature was remaining, how to write a review of literature, where we need to search. Because if you look at any original article, it has a section of abstract, it has a section of introduction, it has a methodology, and then results and discussion. So which are the targets point you selected to write down your review of literature? As far as the review of literature is concerned, first thing I will going to recommend you is that at any time when you want to write something from a research article, please read the entire research article carefully. As far as the selection is concerned, normally we write the review from original article from their results or abstract. So these are two very, very prominent places where you select things which you can choose in your review when you are giving the reference of any original research article. For example, I'm just showing you a model which I used that. She consulted a research paper that was carried out in 2017, 2007, and there she mentioned that Raja conducted their study on et al. Et al. Mean there are more than one authors in that original research article. 2007 conducted their study on epidemiological profile of cutaneous leishmaniasis in Morocco. So that's the conventional way of telling that, okay, in 2007 they conducted an epidemiological study in Morocco. That gives where the study was conducted, when the study was conducted, and who conducted that study. And then from that they have selected that, okay, they identified Leishmania tropica, Leishmania major, and then Leishmania infantum. 3 major species in their study. So these findings, they either selected it from abstract or it is from the results. Because if you read that article, you're going to see that they have reported 3 species. So these lines, they were either selected from the abstract or is from the, so that was their major finding. And then they used another reference, that was another study that ASRI in 2016 carried out their study in Sidi province, northwestern Morocco, during 2006 and 14. So they used the data that was between 2006, although they reported their study in 2016, but the study covers the duration between 2006 and 2014. And once again, that was epidemiological. And then they reported that 415 cases of all age groups, and the incidence of disease was 49%. So you just need to summarize their finding. What's their major finding? And even within a single article, maybe you will going to see a finding of your interest, and you will going to see their finding that is irrelevant for you. So you have to pick up the relevant finding that is useful in your, when you try to review them. So it's not a compulsion that you have to write each and everything from their result. It's an optional that you can choose whatever you want to choose from their papers. And then if you look at those figure 0.85 male to female sex ratio from 7 age groups, that was between 15 and 19. And then she reported that, okay, in their study, they reported an age group of that was between 15 to 19 as most effective, with the prevalence of 28.2% cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis. As she was working, so they, in their study, they also reported something regarding the rural and urban. So here, she also represented the rural and urban ratio. That is all from them. So once again, in this paragraph, she reviewed the findings that were on epidemiology of cutaneous leishmaniasis, and the region was Morocco. So she started with 2007 and then she backed up with 2016. That was the latest study. And she used data for either from their abstract or from results. So now I am uploading an original research article from where we will going to see how we can review that research article. So I will remove this file and then I will going to switch to another file. Okay. Clinical and epidemiological studies on the cutaneous leishmaniasis caused by Leishmania donovani in Sri Lanka. And that is a study that was conducted by Siri Vardhana. So at any time, if I am supposed to write a review, the first thing I will going to check how many authors are there. This is one author, that's the second author, and this is the third author. So it's a study that is being conducted by more than 2 people. So I will going to use a word like et al. And I will going to use the last name of first author. So how I will going to write it, that Siri Vardhana in 2010, that in which year the article was published. Srivardhana et al. In 2010 conducted their study on clinical and epidemiological studies of cutaneous leishmaniasis in Sri Lanka. You do not need to write each and everything from their title. Rather, you can just choose and summarize things what you want to say in your review. And then if I want to review them, I need to look either into the abstract or in results. So if you look here, that's their abstract. Abstract is a pullout that includes a content regarding from few sections from introduction, few sections from methodology, few sections from results, and then discussion. About 200 to 250 words. And from here, you need to choose what's relevant for you. If you look at these punchline, they can be argument for any introduction, but they are not relevant for you. Sri Lanka is the newest reported focus of human leishmaniasis within Indian subcontinent. Over the last 8 years, more than 2,000 cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis were. So these are just introductory lines of the abstract. These are arguments for them that why they are conducting their study, why we need to read their research. So these are not findings, they are just arguments. So it's not always recommended to use anything from. You can just use these arguments to build up your argument. And they can be part of your introduction, they can be part of anything, but you do not need to write anything from the review. That is not relevant for review. And then you have their findings. If you look here, the clinical profile of 401 suspected cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis were recently explored, and some of the cases immunological responses were investigated in antibody detection assay based on the RK39 antigen. So if you look at this paragraph, that is about them, what they have conducted. And that is about the methodology, that they screened 401 suspected cases. And they used antibody detection method that was based on RK39 antigen. So that was about their methodology. So if I want to review that article, I have two options. Either I will going to start writing the review of thesis by saying that Srivardhana in 2010 conducted their study on cutaneous leishmaniasis in Sri Lanka. That's one way to say it. Please do not write their entire title. You do not need to write it. So that will create plagiarism. So write it in your own language. Okay, they have conducted their study in Sri Lanka. Or another way to write it, that instead of doing all that thing, you just also try to mention that which methodology they have adopted and which methods they have used to screen the patient. So another way to write it here, at Srivardhana in 2010 in Sri Lanka screened 401 suspected cases using an antibody detection assay. It's all your choice whether you want to include RK39 antigen or not. It's all your choice. So antibody detection assay, that telling you that they have performed some kind of ELISA. Another way to use that, okay, Srivardhana in 2010 screened 401 suspected cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis in Sri Lanka using enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. That's one way. So you can just choose the starting lines, but these are not that. So these studies were followed by the cross-sectional survey involving active detection in 3. So these are all about the methodology. You do not need to mention each and everything from the methodology. And even you can exclude everything from the methodology. That they conducted an epidemiological study, they conducted a clinical profile. So you just exclude it, you give no information about their methodology. Still, it's possible. And if you are interested, you can give information about that they used antibody-based assay to screen that much patient. That's another way. And then you look at their abstract. Although the data collected indicated that transmission of parasite causing the cutaneous leishmaniasis was mostly outdoor in the north of the country. So that's their finding. You can just mention their finding. That Srivardhana, they reported that transmission of cutaneous leishmaniasis is mostly caused by outdoors. And then most of the transmission in the south, where the cutaneous leishmaniasis were found in wide range, only 24 cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis were investigated with RK39 assay gave negative results, whereas single case of mucosal visceral leishmaniasis that were studied were found positive for antibody reacting to the RK39. So these are just comprehensive, and you are not getting anything from this. And then at the last, they have some concluding remarks, so that's not useful for you. So if you in some abstract, you will going to see comprehensive information. In some abstract, you will going to see something like this, where you are not getting, okay, they found majority of the cases that were outdoor, and they found a single case that were positive for RK antigen, that were found positive using RK antigen. So these are only 3 things you can mention from this abstract. In that case, if the abstract is creating complications for you, that you have another option. That's an ideal abstract, that where you get very limited information from their abstract, because everyone has its own writing style. So once you do not get anything from their abstract, I seriously recommend you to read all their methodology, introduction, everything. But I'm talking you where you're going to choose things for writing. So next option is go to the results, and where they will going to find what they have findings. They will going to tell you that what findings they have. So that if you start reading the abstract, I'm not reading every line, but the point prevalence of the cutaneous leishmaniasis in the study population was 2.4. So previously, you know that maybe they have 419 or something suspected cases, and from that only 2.4% of were positive for, but were confirmed for cutaneous leishmaniasis. So if I need to write a review from this article, I will going to see that Srivardhana in 2010 conducted a study on epidemiology and cutaneous clinical profile of leishmaniasis in Sri Lanka, and reported that 2.4% of the study population were positive for cutaneous leishmaniasis, and that's their real finding. They are real numbers. Although they have added a confidence interval, you do not need to add their confidence interval. That tells them that how much accurate their study is. Then you can give the reference that, okay, they reported that prevalence was higher in male as compared to female. Maybe in some another study, you will going to see that someone has reported that the prevalence was higher in female and male. So you can use both of them. That, okay, you can use all those previous studies that there is an ongoing contradiction regarding the association of gender with the disease. So these are studies, they supported that males were more subject to, were more exposed to the leishmaniasis as compared to female. And on contrary, these research articles, they conclude that females, they are more susceptible. And these are the studies that showed no relationship with the gender. This is how you can review it. But if you are reviewing a single article, okay, in their finding, they reported that male subjects were they were more susceptible for leishmaniasis as female. The most susceptible group in their study was 21 to 40 years old. And this is the group where they see the maximum prevalence. So when you are writing the review of literature, write the findings of others, rather than those journal statements they have used. Because if you look at the abstract, initially they started with an argument. That argument is an argument that is not their finding. That is logic. It's all your choice. Be very brief. You can use their methodology to develop your methodology. So you can include stuff in your materials and method, not in review. But when you are reviewing something, review their findings and give a very, very brief details about their methodology if you want. That's choice. At this survey site, they were marked the difference between that. In S3, the cutaneous leishmaniasis demonstrates AMST goats giving the prevalence of 0.5. So you have to give each and every real prevalence. This is how we need to write that, and then you have a risk factor and you can just search things from their results, and then you can include few things from their discussion if you want. Because in the discussion they have given you, they have just reviewed things as well. If you look at their discussion, you will going to see that they have compared their study with the previous findings. And they supported there with, so even if you look here, they have reported it seems possible that the causative maintained by the zoonotic in S1 human exposure to the jungle environment enabling non-human sandfly human transmission as reported elsewhere. So as they have in their findings, as they have reported that it's the outdoor that is causing more infection, people visiting the outdoor places, they are more exposed. So they back their study with another. So this is the line they use from another article. And even in your review, you can use stuff like this. And even in your discussion, you have to support yourself with the existing knowledge. So you can support your findings if the others around the world, they have worked on the same thing and they have the similar findings. Is it clear? Do you have any question regarding this? Just feel comfortable because this is something real. You have to practice it during your thesis. That's how you need to revise each and everything. Is it clear? Can I move on? Is it clear? Just confirm it. Do you have any question? So that I can switch. Do you have any question? Is there any distortion in my voice? Please confirm it so that I can continue.
No, sir, no question. You can move.
Okay. So the PowerPoint is visible on your screen.
No, sir. No, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
So as far your research proposal is concerned, the first chapter is your introduction. And we have discussed everything regarding the introduction. And your introduction should not be more than a couple of pages when it comes to the research proposal. It must be 2 to 3 pages. Okay, that is acceptable. But not more than 2 to 3 pages. So it's always easy. Okay, it's acceptable that, okay, if you have only a couple of pages, that is still acceptable. But thesis with 5 pages. And then the second chapter is your review of literature. When it comes to the research proposal, even you can skip the review of literature. Or you can just merge the few major review of findings that support that you need to conduct that study, that is giving evidences that, okay, a study is required on this topic. In that case, you can accommodate that review in your introduction as well. But when you are writing the review, still, but in research proposal, still you can write the review of literature. When you are writing the review of literature of your proposal, you do not need to give the history of everything. Just try to consume 3 to 4 pages, not more than that, and just review the major findings of the past that support that you need to conduct that study. Although in the thesis, normally you have a review of 10 to 15 pages. But research proposal, as we are discussing the research proposal, not more than 3 to 4 pages. And the third section is your materials and methods. As far as the chapter heading is concerned, section heading is concerned, every university has its own format. And they have their own terms. In one university, maybe instead of the introduction, you have a word like background. So if you are doing that thing in that university, you have to mention you have to write the introduction with the heading of background. So use exactly the same words. If somewhere it's review of literature, write down review of literature. If they have in their format as literature review or something else, just write as it is. Do not switch the headings because they are format, they are part of format. In my university, the third chapter is always materials and methods. In some university, maybe they have a word like the simple word like methodology. So write those words which are in the format. In the materials and methods, the first thing that you need to give information is about the study area, if you are conducting a study in a specific area. So as the model study, I'm using this as a model. So as this study was conducted in district Mirpur, so you need to give information about the district Mirpur. If you look at any article, the first information they will tell you about is always about the area where you are conducting this study. That is primary. But as you are writing the proposal, you have to replace this word was by will be. So in the proposal, the thing will be like this: the present study will be conducted in divisional headquarter teaching hospital, Mirpur, Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. So as this is a thesis, so it's a past story. So she used the word was. But when you will write the proposal, you will have to replace that was word with will be. So the study will be conducted in divisional headquarter teaching hospital. And then you need to give detail about that thing. If you are conducting a study that is on maybe water contamination in district Mirpur, so you need to tell me the present study is conducted in Mirpur and this is how. So she is telling about that okay, this is the largest hospital facility in the division, and it's giving assistance to the 0.456 million population of the Mirpur. So all these kind of data you will going to get either from the authorities. You can visit the government websites. There they have some accurate data. Still, you can go to the website of the statistics. They have all these kind of data, and when you are searching the data from a website, you do not have a specific author. You need to use the word anonymous, and that's a confirmed word. There is nothing else. Where you do not have any author, use the word anonymous. Normally, the anonymous word is being used for all those websites where they do not have any specific author. But when you have some specific author, mention the reference of that specific author.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes.
Sir, can we use the website name or name of authority? Like if we are getting information from hospital or any government institution, can we mention them here?
As far as the draft section is concerned, draft section mean when you have a chapter like this, materials and methods. So when you are writing with this, here you need to give the reference. So in this section, we normally give the clue of the reference, anonymous 2018. And then at the end, you have a section, we name it as the literature cited. So here you just give the clue of that reference, that what reference it is. And then in the section of anonymous 2018, here you can see that you are in the last, you have what section we name it as the literature cited. In some universities, instead of literature cited, you have a word like references. So here you need to give detail of that reference. So in the text, we only use anonymous 2018. And now you are telling what is anonymous 2018 is. It's a AJK at a glance, planning and development department. And here you have all that website, HTTP, PND, AJK, GOV, PK, and then AJK class. Mean you have to just, you need to copy the entire link from the top. And then you have to give the detail that on which date you searched it. So that data was searched on March 7, 2018 at 3 p.m. Why date and the time is compulsion? Because normally the websites, they are being updated again and again. So maybe that if someone will going to search that website today, maybe they have a switch in data. Maybe they have updated something. Maybe they have removed something. So it's a compulsion that when you are giving the references of those websites, okay, this is the detail that, okay, this is the department from which I consulted, and this is the website from where I get the data, and on this date I get the data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear. Thank you.
So in the section, when you are writing, if you are going to give all those detail in that section, that will be very difficult for your reader. So in the text, you just give the clue, and the detail of that clue will be in the separate section. We name it as literature cited or references. So that's the study area. Give information. Okay, it's the northern Mirpur city is surrounded by Mangla Dam, which is the most water reservoir, and there they have a references because it was from a research article, so they mentioned Bhatt et al. In 2010. And then here you have an information about the area, that much is an area of Mirpur, and then you used an anonymous, they must be from planning and development sites, and then here you have an information regarding the climate. Because as far as the disease is concerned, the climate or the temperature information is very, very much crucial because they influences the disease. That's why when you are discussing the study area, discuss the climate as well. If you are working with the water pollution, discuss the climate population as well. If you are discussing the water pollution, just try to discuss with reference to the rural and urban population as well. And then what's the main source of revenue? It's optional. So the first chapter is always introduce your study area. And then it's always recommended that if you have some expertise on GIS, so you can just make a GIS map to make it more easier for your reader to understand where that location exists in Pakistan. So you can just back up with the maps and you can give the reference of those maps. The second step is to tell about your study design. What study design you have adopted. So normally the present study was conducted in 2 phases. If you just split. So when you will write the research proposal, you will have to replace it that the present study will be conducted in, replace the was by will be, if you are writing a research proposal in 2 phases. So the first phase will be the data collection and the sampling, and the second phase will be the lab diagnosis. So you have to describe how you have conducted that study. And then if you look here, she has clearly mentioned that the second phase was lab diagnosis of cutaneous leishmaniasis from skin smears collected from symptomatic patients. That means she only screened the symptomatic patients. And that is a part of her design. She will not going to screen the entire population. That's why she used the word patient, epidemiology and clinical profile of cutaneous leishmaniasis in patients attended at divisional headquarters teaching hospital. That means that is not population-based study. That is a hospital-based study. So you just need to understand that even your design must be according to your topic. And then the third section is that when you need to give information regarding the data collection and the sample. So here you are telling your reader that which duration you have conducted that study. Very, very important thing. It's a 1-year study that was conducted between March 17 to February 2018. So all those patients that attended a dermatology clinic, they were screened. And another information that a self-developed questionnaire was used. And at the end of your research proposal, you need to attach that questionnaire. So even here, you are telling that okay, that questionnaire include information that was informative regarding the location, gender, locality, family site, pet animal, association with poultry, livestock, age, history of travel, type of horses, use of mosquito nets and insecticides, and the clinical profile, location of lions, types of lions, number of lions, history, and the previous treatment. These are all, they were all questionnaire. And here you also declare that okay, they are attached at the annexure 1. So that's very, very important. Tell your reader that when you are going to conduct that research, where you are going to conduct your research, how you are going to conduct your research, and what questionnaire you are going to use, what information you are going to collect during your research, which design you are going to follow. These are all capacities. These are all part of your materials and methods. And that concludes my discussion because my time is over. So if we're going to continue from the same place in our tomorrow's lecture, if you have any questions, just ask. You have 2 minutes. Just feel comfortable and ask. You are not taking me seriously, so the only thing I can do is to request again, please just download. Yes, please.
सर ये जो क्वेश्चनर होता है क्या हमने खुद डेवलप करना होता है या हम प्रीवियसली इसको यूज कर सकते हैं किसी का जो पहले से बना हुआ है?
As far as the social sciences is concerned, एक बात याद रखें. One thing you need to know very well, that the questionnaire that is being most frequently used, the questionnaire that is being used by many researchers is the most authentic questionnaire. That means so many people in the world, they agree that this is the right questionnaire to be used when you are conducting the research. But when you are going to develop, you can use the questionnaire of your own choice. But one criteria I gave you, that's a very, very much important criteria, that the questionnaire that is being most frequently used is the most reliable questionnaire. But in some time, a single questionnaire is not fulfilling your objectives. Maybe that questionnaire is ideal for their objective, but it may not be absolutely word-to-word true for your activity as well. So in that case, you can take a fraction from one questionnaire and you can take another fraction from another questionnaire. So you can read the literature, you can just, why you are carrying out a literature review, the only purpose is that you want to know that what are significant things which you need to consider in your research. Why you are reading the materials and methods of others? Because you do not want to commit the mistake. You want to become more and more informative. So read the other articles, use their questionnaire, and if you have some of your own questions, you can include them as well. That's ideal. So you just need, first you need to just try to prepare a list of all those questionnaires that are available to you through online sources, and then looking at our, and then you need to develop your own with reference to them. In social sciences, people, they used those questionnaires that are valid and reliable. But in natural sciences, we have different kind of data. So normally we develop our own questionnaire. But in those questionnaires, we take help from other questionnaires as well. When it comes to the social sciences, you need to just change the language of that questionnaire as well. Because every community has its own speaking style, has its own style of saying things. So maybe one questionnaire that is very much valid, applicable, it's in Europe, maybe it's not applicable here. So that is a problem of social sciences. I'm not teaching, you are not from social sciences, so I will not going to explain that kind of stuff. But in social sciences, even the translation of questionnaire into a local language and that becomes appropriate, that is also very much crucial. But with you, as far as the natural sciences is concerned, you can consult all those papers, and you just need to become more and more informative, add all their information, and then you decide what information you need. So you can consult anyone, and even you can include your own questions as well. No issue at all. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear. Sir, एक और question है. Sir,
Yes,
is
yes,
it
please.
possible to consider all the things in one methodology? Like we have questionnaire, and we have some experiments, and survey, etc.
What do you want to say? That I'm not claiming that if someone is conducting a survey, he is not carrying out an experiment. It's possible.
सर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि क्या एक जो methodologies के section में हम survey, experiment और questions वगैरह कर सकते हैं एक ही, यानी कि उसके अंदर सारी चीजें?
Yes, it depends. Even within the section of material method, if you have experiment, you just have to give details of your experiment as well. If you are conducting a survey, you have to give details of survey as well. Even I have not completed with this, so she used the lab as well. So she was not carrying out any experiment. She was just screening the population. So she never conducted any experiment as such in the lab. But if a second part, for example, if she was interested to compare the efficacy of various drugs against cutaneous leishmaniasis cases, in that case, initially she was required to screen all those cases. That was a survey. And from those positive cases, she need to select a few cases that was required to be treated with drug A, and then another cases that were required to be treated with. So that's an experiment. Even she can use lab animals, and she can just for her experiment as well. So you can conduct a survey as well as experiment. You can conduct only survey. You can carry out any only experiment. It depends on your design. What do you really want? And you always have a single material and method section. So whatever you have conducted, you have to mention all that thing, whatever you have carried out in a single material and method section. No issue at all. But when it comes to the paper, normally we split all that kind of stuff. Because for example, if you have carried out a study and that have 4 objectives, and you published all those 4 objectives in a single paper. Rather, people, they prefer to have more and more articles, so they will going to publish their survey separately. They will publish their experiment separately. That's a practice. But you can do it together, no issue. So that's all your options. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Do you have any other question? Just feel comfortable and ask. And I seriously recommend you, please, it's a request, and I will going to insist you again and again. What I'm telling you, you just need to download those articles and read them carefully. Today, I request you to look at the section of methodology and read at least 3 to 4 articles. That whatever I'm telling is true, or you can add few things. Because what will going to happen at the end of this course, that if you will not practice, you will not going to practice anything. What will going to happen that you will not